How narcissistic is this man? At the party, it was the first time the women saw such a handsome man. They couldn't help but steal a few more glances. When the man noticed, he walked towards them. The women immediately got excited, thinking he was going to come over and talk to them. But the next second, he completely ignored them, walking straight through the middle, heading directly to the mirror, admiring his own stunning looks. The women looked disappointed. This man's name is Lee Ying-jun. He's the CEO of a listed company. Except for his secretary, he almost never lets other women get close. Every day when he goes to work, there are dozens of employees following him. He's as impressive as he wants to be. After every meeting, all employees must stand and watch him leave. Only after he leaves can they sit down. But this seemingly perfect man has one flaw that's hard to accept. He's too narcissistic. Even at the party, he suddenly runs to look in the mirror. Secretary Jean tried to remind him, but he told her not to disturb his enjoyment. Only when Secretary Jean complimented him, saying he was already perfect, did he reluctantly leave. On the way back, Secretary Jean wanted to resign, but he thought she was going to confess to him.
저 이제 그만두려고요.
In the end, he gave her an awkward look. That evening, Lee Ying-jun tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. He couldn't understand why his secretary of 10 years would suddenly resign. The next morning, he immediately called Secretary Jean to the office and asked her the reason for resigning. However, Secretary Jean just smiled and said nothing, only saying it was for personal reasons. To figure out why Secretary Jean resigned, he asked his friend for help. His friend said there are only two reasons why employees leave. One is because they're mistreated at work. The other is because they're not paid enough. Lee Ying-jun seemed to understand something. He immediately found Secretary Jean and offered to promote and raise her salary. He even offered to buy her a car and a house if necessary. He just hoped she wouldn't resign. However, Secretary Jean said she had already made up her mind. Lee Ying-jun went to his friend again and said that Secretary Jean had worked with him for 10 years. How could she just leave like that? His friend was also puzzled and asked what had happened the day she resigned. Lee Ying-jun thought carefully. That day, because of a work engagement, he asked Secretary Jean to help buy flowers for Ji Yuan. When she came back, she was in tears. Lee Ying-jun suddenly understood everything. Secretary Jean must like him. That's why she was so upset and wanted to resign. But in fact, Secretary Jean had been allergic to pollen since she was young. That's why she had been crying. Thinking that Secretary Jean liked him, Lee Ying-jun couldn't help but laugh. He quickly called Secretary Jean out, planning to explain things about Ji Yuan to her. As soon as Secretary Jean got into the car, Lee Ying-jun handed her a bouquet of flowers. Secretary Jean immediately felt uncomfortable and asked to put the flowers in the trunk. Lee Ying-jun thought Secretary Jean was moved by him and proudly smiled.